real quick before the video starts, just reminding you, I have my summer shredding sale going on the whole month of July. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be the lowest prices all year. Actually, my lowest prices ever, so you don't want to miss that. Whether you just want to get in better shape, put on some muscle, or if you want to compete, as you can see back there, I got trophy, overall sword. If you want to compete, win a show, place, come join the squad. Email me at batyfall@icloud.com. Also, if you don't already follow my Instagram at batyfall on Instagram. Now let's watch the video. What's up, guys? It's your boy Baty, and today I wanted to talk about the Erick Kanevsky contest prep cycle. So I'm sure most of you guys by now have seen Erick's video where he goes over his whole cycle for the entirety of the of his contest prep. All right, getting ready for the Mr. Cal and his warm-up show. So obviously y'all know Erick is my boy, so I already knew this cycle long before he posted the video. But I'm not gonna speak on other people's cycles or anything like that. Obviously, it's not my, not my place to say. But now it's out in the open, so obviously I'll talk about it. So since he dropped this video, a lot of people been contacting me and asking me if I do this cycle as well, or if he got the cycle from me, or if I was coaching him and told him to do this cycle, etc. So the simple answer to that is no. That is not my cycle. That doesn't look anything like my cycle, and it's not something that I would do or would ever do. And honestly, my body wouldn't be able to handle that, to be honest. And even if it could handle that, I don't believe that's necessary personally. So no, that's not my cycle. It's not something I plan on doing, so no, that's the answer to that. Did I coach Erick for his contest prep? No, I didn't coach him. I was like a second pair of eyes. I've been bodybuilding for longer than him. Yeah, he would ask me for tips and help, and just to monitor him a little bit, keep an eye on him, whether he's on point or not, or just like some advice. But no, I didn't coach him. I didn't do his diet. I didn't do his cycle. I didn't do his training. If he had any questions, he would ask me, and I would give him my opinion. I was his posing coach, so I did do his posing routine, and I helped him with the poses and whatnot. And also, some people asked me my thoughts on the cycle. Well, you got to keep in mind, right? Everybody's different. We're all different, okay? So how our body reacts, to these compounds are going to be completely different from one another, right? So most people couldn't do that cycle if they wanted to. Like, if most people tried, they physically couldn't do it. They wouldn't be able to eat. Some people wouldn't be able to sleep. Some people wouldn't be able to train. Some people literally wouldn't be able to train. They would be lethargic. They just wouldn't do it because, they couldn't. If they tried it, within a couple of weeks, they would be like, okay, I can't do this, so I'm going to stop. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to Erick, he's not sensitive to anything, it seems. He could take 5,000 milligrams of caffeine and barely feel it. For whatever reason, his body seems to be resilient to everything, it seems like it. So he's just really not sensitive to anything. So anything he takes, he needs more just to feel it seems like that. And no matter how much he takes, he really doesn't seem to get many side effects or any side effects sometimes. So he's one of the few people that can physically actually do it and not get any sides on top of that, really. So yeah, he does get his blood work checked regularly, and it's always within range. Even after something that crazy, it still comes back in range. Yes, the blood work was real. He's not gonna fake blood work for his channel. That's like, nobody has time for that. Like, come on, it's not that serious. It's really not. And now he's starting to get his heart monitored and with the EKGs and whatnot. I mean, he does keep an eye on himself. He does keep an eye on himself, and everything seems fine. I'm sure if everything wasn't fine, I'm sure he would adjust his cycle accordingly. So that's him. Do I believe anybody else should try this or do it? No, I don't. Let's say you can handle it, and you're one of those people that can handle it. Do you need that? You know, so to get that look or put on muscle or win a show or be a pro? No, you don't. You know, there's people that believe the top pros do cycles like this. I don't believe that. You know, because I know, like I said, most people wouldn't be able to. Most of these top pros are eating 6,000 to 8,000 calories. You couldn't eat that. You couldn't eat that on that amount of drugs. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't eat that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, 1 in a million could do that, and it wouldn't make any sense because you can't even get the food down. If you can't get the food down, you're not gonna grow. It's just that simple. And your body can only absorb so much. So you can take a ton of stuff. It doesn't mean you're necessarily gonna use it. You're gonna utilize it. And if you don't utilize it, at that point, you're kind of wasting your money. So would I recommend it? No, I wouldn't. Would I do it myself? No. Do I tell Erick that he should take less because he doesn't need it? Yes, I tell him, but he's a grown man and he has his own beliefs, and so far he's healthy. So, you know, he's gonna do what he pleases until he feels like he doesn't need it himself, and then he'll adjust accordingly. So, if anybody wants to get an idea of my cycle, I'm not one to really like to talk too much about what I do, just because people are weird. Like, let's say if Erick came out and he said, well, I just do 500 milligrams of test, that's it, that's all I did, all prep, and everybody would call him a liar, right? And him coming out with his actual cycle, some people still think he's lying. Some people think he's exaggerating and just doing it for clout, you know? So sometimes it's like, it almost doesn't matter because everybody's gonna believe what they want to believe. So the truth almost doesn't really matter. So I find it pointless to even talk about it sometimes, because whatever I say, somebody's gonna say either, no, he doesn't do that, he's lying, or he can only do that because he has, you know, great genetics and that's why. But if you don't have his genetics, you have to do 3 times that amount, and it's always something. It's always something that somebody comes up with. So I don't even like to get into it, but to give you guys the idea, let's say off season for me would usually be test and EQ, about a gram of test, EQ about what, 500 EQ. You know, that's I would say that's the average cycle for a competitive bodybuilder. Maybe on the lower side as far as super heavyweight bodybuilders go. I'm nationally qualified super heavyweight bodybuilder. Maybe on the lower side, you know, more to the let me not say lower, maybe more to the moderate side. Obviously, there's people taking a lot more than that. Any more than that for me, I feel lethargic. I can't train hard. I feel sleepy. Appetite starts to crash. So for me, any more than that really just isn't necessary, especially off season when I'm trying to get as much calories as possible and I'm trying to train really hard. Pre-contest, obviously, you start to add different compounds. So for me, my pre-contest diet usually starts anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks out, right? But the actual pre-contest cycle doesn't start for me till 6 to 8 weeks out, you know, usually. Let's say 12 to 16 weeks out, same thing. It's still gonna be the test and EQ. And then 8 weeks out, I'll probably drop the EQ, add in some Tren and Masteron. Let's say I start with 300 milligrams of Tren, 300 milligrams of Masteron, and depending on how I feel, those will go up the closer I get to the show, you know. And you know, you got the fat burners, the Clean, the T3. Those usually start about 10 to 12 weeks out at 20 milligrams, and they go up slowly depending on how the weight is dropping. I've seen a couple comments that a couple people said that I did DNP for my prep, and that's how I got pneumonia. First, we gotta keep in mind, I was just under 12 weeks out, so I started my prep diet, but I didn't start the prep cycle or anything like that yet. So let's say I do condone DNP, but I wouldn't start DNP 12 weeks out, right? That's not how it would work. I'm not actually sure when people start DNP to be honest with you. I'm not sure when people start because I don't actually know any competitive bodybuilder or any decent competitive bodybuilder that actually takes DNP. Like, I don't actually know. I don't believe, you know, decent, good, or great bodybuilders ever used it before. I think those are usually the people that are getting last place at local shows, that are looking at the big shredded guy like, oh, I need to do something to catch up to them, and maybe they do it, but I don't actually know anybody competitively that uses it, so I wouldn't even know the protocol for it, to be honest with you. I don't think there should be a protocol for it. I don't think anybody should do it. If you can't get in shape without DNP, do yourself a favor and don't compete. Just don't do it. Makes no sense. So obviously, I don't use DNP. That just doesn't make sense. And during my prep, I'm actually trying the hardest not to lose too much weight because the weight comes off so easily for me. You know, I'm young, I have a good metabolism, so it wouldn't make sense. That's kind of what my cycle entails. I'm not gonna walk you through every week or anything like that. At least not in this video. Maybe in a future video, I might. But like I said, I don't really like to go too deep into it because I feel like people are gonna jump to their own conclusions and say, well, I don't believe this, I don't believe that, so what's the point of me really elaborating about it if everybody's gonna believe what they want to believe anyway? So, sometimes I don't talk about it, sometimes I kind of glance over it or whatnot, but yeah, so long story short, no, I don't do Erick's cycle. I do my own cycle. I think it's pretty moderate. That's all relative. To somebody that might be nothing, that might be like crazy low. To somebody that might be moderate, I don't think it'll be high for anybody that's a competitive bodybuilder. But yeah, that's how it goes. So no, I don't do Erick's cycle. No, I didn't give him that cycle, and that's what I do. So believe that if you want. Don't believe it if you don't want to believe it. But that's what I do. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the post notifications, drop some questions down below, and until next time, peace. Gains. You see the gains through the t-shirt. Boom.